This spring-like action of the points of inflection really allows an infinite variety of apertures, and as such it gives the widest dynamic contrast, diversity to timbre or tone on the reed. It helps the player to adjust in all sorts of different situations. Perhaps is also going to be helpful in intonation. So in general, this is why I find my normal reed needs points of inflection, and I think most players would also say that their normal reed needs these points of inflection as well. It allows for greater dynamic nuance and just gives the player a greater range of tone and abilities with to play with. Now, a reed with no points of inflection, again, this is tends to be the concerto reed type, will in a way have what I call maybe an all or nothing aperture. This is of course an extreme example. We don't even see points of inflection right at the edge of the tip area. If we were to have number 4, it would just show the reed all the way flat. But notice how the entire surface of the reed, at least as pictured here, is still all vibrating. However, the aperture height has been greatly diminished. This means less air is able to go through the reed. Obviously, number 3 here, this is going to be softer in dynamic than number 1. Number 3 is probably going to be a little easier if the player adopts this sort of position to play up high, number 1 down low. And so with the concerto reed, you still have a maximum amount of vibration surface, but you're able through embouchure adjustments and adjustments of the reed aperture to play throughout the entire range of the instrument. Let's further explore these reed types in terms of how they apply to the normal reed. For instance, if you are having consistent difficulty with the high register of the bassoon, you might have a normal reed type that favors the low note register. So for instance, your reed may tend to occupy this position, drawing only a little bit from high note characteristics, favoring much more the low note or quiet characteristics, and in this particular location it also doesn't favor the concerto reed. In order for you to gain better command of the high register and have more accuracy with the high register, you may need to move your reed towards the high note reed. So you would look at the concepts of what is in the high note reed and make some of those adjustments, make changes from what you find in the low note reed, moving it in the direction of the high note reed. Now you notice I've listed a number of characteristics of the high notes reeds, and of course part of reed making is learning which characteristic to change. And all I'd say is a lot of this comes from experience, but a lot of this can also come from learning from other reed makers, from talking with that, from working with the teacher if you have that, of course experimentation. If you're in that situation where you have this low note reed and you want to change to the high note reed, well, pick one quality of the high note reed that you think your reed doesn't have, apply it to that reed, and see what change it made. It probably pushes in this direction, but maybe it pushes in that direction in a way you don't like. Maybe it's changed the timbre or maybe the articulation or something. So you may need to make another adjustment. But the way to learn these characteristics and how to move your reeds in the direction, one direction or another, for your normal reed is to have your normal reed adopt some more of these characteristics. I know in my career, when I first started my professional career playing with the Hong Kong Philharmonic, I think I had a reed that I would have probably put more in this location here. It drew a little bit more on the concerto tendencies and definitely drew more on the high note tendencies maybe in this location. Through my playing experience, and maybe part of this is because I play much more chamber music now than I do orchestrally, I think my reed has moved maybe a bit more over to this area. So, everyone's normal will move around in this spectrum, and it may be very, very good for you to understand that your normal over the year is going to move according to the demands of the playing that you have. So having these concepts and being able to apply these different reed type counterpoises, these specialty reeds, we'll help you to adjust your normal reed, and we'll help you to gain some conception of not only how to make the specialty reeds, which are also important to playing, but also how to make your normal reed. Well, let me close with another prayer for you. God, I just would ask for your blessing on those listening to this video, that you become real in their lives. You just open their understanding to reed making and reed types, and Lord, you'd also open their understanding to you. We ask this in your name. Amen.